My dear, there is something hidden deep inside my heart that I have carried silently for a very long time. I tried countless times to ignore it, bury it, and convince myself that these feelings would eventually fade away. I thought that if I stayed quiet long enough, time would erase everything I felt for you. But no matter how hard I tried, those feelings only continued to grow stronger. The truth is simple, yet it has always been the hardest thing for me to say aloud. I have loved you quietly for far longer than you could ever imagine. It was never fear of you that kept me silent. In reality, it was the respect and admiration I had for you that made confessing feel impossible. You always seemed so graceful, confident, and complete, while I constantly felt like someone still struggling to find his place in the world. Whenever people spoke about you, there was admiration in their voices. And whenever I compared myself to you, I felt smaller than I ever admitted to anyone. There were moments when I hinted to others that I liked you secretly, hoping someone might encourage me to speak honestly. Instead, I was met with disbelief and laughter. People treated my feelings as though they were foolish, as if I was reaching for something impossibly beyond my reach. Slowly their words planted insecurities inside me, and I began to believe that maybe someone like me had no right to dream about someone like you. Every time I thought about confessing, fear stopped me. Not only the fear of rejection, but the fear of humiliation, the fear of standing before you with my heart exposed, only to discover that everything I felt existed only inside me. I feared becoming someone you would pity. So instead of speaking honestly, I chose silence. I convinced myself that maybe one day, after I had changed enough, achieved enough, and become someone more worthy, then perhaps I could stand before you without feeling ashamed. That belief became my motivation. I worked harder on myself because of you. Every improvement I made carried your invisible influence behind it. I wanted to become stronger, wiser, and better. Not only for myself, but because your existence inspired me to grow. Without even realizing it, you became one of the greatest reasons behind my determination. So I continued loving you quietly from a distance. I carried my feelings silently while pretending everything was normal. Sometimes I wondered whether you ever noticed how my eyes searched for you in crowded places, or how your smallest acts of kindness stayed in my mind for days. There were moments that probably meant nothing to you, yet became unforgettable memories. For me, even the smallest conversations with you brought peace to my heart. Despite everything, I remained silent because silence felt safer than rejection. But as time passed, the silence itself became heavier than the fear. Carrying unspoken emotions slowly became unbearable. I realized that if I never told you the truth, I would spend the rest of my life wondering what might have happened if only I had been brave enough. So today, I choose honesty over fear. I stand before you emotionally unguarded, with no certainty about what your response might be. Maybe my feelings mean nothing to you. Maybe your heart belongs somewhere else. Maybe you only see me as an ordinary person in your life. I truly do not know, but what I do know is that you deserve honesty, and I owe you the truth that has lived inside me for so long, no matter what happens after. This confession, I need you to understand something important. Your kindness changed me. During moments when others underestimated me or made me feel unimportant, you never treated me that way. You never mocked me, never looked down on me, and never made me feel invisible. Your kindness gave me comfort during days when I struggled silently with myself. You probably never realized how much your presence meant to me. There were times when simply hearing your voice or receiving even a small message from you made difficult days feel lighter. You became a source of peace in my life without even trying. That is why my feelings for you were never temporary. They were real, sincere, and deeply rooted in my heart. But while carrying these emotions, I also learned something important about love itself. Love cannot be forced or demanded simply because someone feels deeply. Every heart follows its own path. Feelings either grow naturally or they do not. And because I genuinely care about you, I could never ask you to return my feelings out of sympathy or pressure. I am confessing not because I expect anything from you, but because I no longer want to hide from the truth. If by some miracle your heart feels even a fraction of what mine feels for you, I cannot describe the happiness that would bring me. But if your feelings are different, I will still respect them completely. Your honesty would never destroy me. What would truly hurt is spending my entire life wondering whether I should have spoken sooner. And regardless of your answer, I want you to remember something important. You are deeply valuable. You deserve a love that is sincere, gentle, and consistent. You deserve someone who values your presence instead of taking it for granted, someone who listens carefully to your words, remembers the little things about you, and treats your emotions with care rather than carelessness. You deserve a relationship where effort exists equally from both sides, where you never have to beg for love, attention, or reassurance. Please never settle for someone who disappears when life becomes difficult, or someone who only returns when it benefits them. Love should never leave you confused, anxious, or questioning your worth. Real love should feel safe, warm, and steady. Do not chase people who make you feel unwanted. Do not shrink yourself for someone who fails to recognize your value. If someone truly values you, their actions will show it clearly. You should never have to constantly wonder where you stand in someone's life. You are already enough. Exactly as you are. Your worth does not decrease simply because someone fails to appreciate it. You deserve someone who chooses you with certainty, pride, and sincerity. And if the person you care about cannot offer you the respect, effort, and love you deserve, then please choose yourself. Instead, walk away from anything that continuously hurts your spirit, not out of anger, but out of self-respect and self-love. Sometimes letting go is the greatest kindness we can offer ourselves. Life is too short to spend waiting for messages that never come or hoping for affection that is only given in fragments. You deserve complete love, not half-hearted attention. You deserve someone whose actions match their promises, someone who stays instead of constantly making you fear they might not leave. So whatever happens after today, I simply hope you remember this. You are deeply valuable, irreplaceable, and deserving of a love that makes your heart feel safe every single day. And as for me, I finally have peace knowing that I was brave enough to tell you the truth I carried silently in my heart for so long.